It's time for NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. The latest from around the Wenatchee Valley and North Central Washington with Steve Hare, and sports with Eric Granstrom.
Good evening and welcome to NCW Life News. I'm Grant Olson. Here are a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. The body of a Methow man was recovered Saturday after he drowned in the Methow River. Swift water rescue crews were busy on the Wenatchee River over the weekend with a number of distress calls. Washington State will file a federal lawsuit concerning a safety review of a pesticide, and a boil water advisory is issued by the Chelan County PUD. Later on, we'll have your sports, your weather forecast, and our feature story today. But we first begin tonight. 2 4th of July fireworks-related structure fires have called into question whether the city of East Wenatchee should join with the city of Wenatchee and both Chelan and Douglas County in banning the sale of fireworks. East Wenatchee Mayor Steve Lacy says that while both fires may have been caused by fireworks, he stands by the East Wenatchee City Council's decision to allow the sale of safe and sane fireworks.
Caused by fireworks which were not legal either in the county or in the city. In other words, they were aerial fireworks that are illegal anywhere in the state, and you could tell that by the photograph they took of the fireworks while they were occurring, which kind of bolsters my counsel's argument that there isn't yet any evidence that safe and sane fireworks have caused any major fires in East Wenatchee in the city limits at any time, which is what we were told by the fire marshal before the city council decided not to ban fireworks in East Wenatchee last year and the year previous. There was another fire apparently in the Brookside trailer court, and although it's not as clear to me with that one, it doesn't appear there's any actual evidence that they were caused by safe and sane fireworks being purchased in the city, or that it would have made any difference in light of the city's ban or not banning fireworks to that fire. Plus, it wasn't a major fire. So basically within the city, the way I understand, we got one call out for a fire in the city, which was Brookside. It doesn't justify the belief that fireworks are causing significant damage inside the city limits. So I'm of the view that my council on balance probably would make the same decision today as they made twice in the last essentially 2 years.
Douglas County Fire District 2 Assistant Fire Chief Brian Brett says both 4th of July fires were caused by fireworks, but no citations were issued. Okanagan County Sheriff's deputies recovered the body of a Methow man Saturday after it was spotted on the Columbia River floating toward the Wells Dam. The body was that of 74-year-old Alvin E. Heimer, who drowned in the Methow River on July 1st. The two deputies recovered the body after borrowing a jet ski. The week-long search involved the Okanagan and Chelan County search and rescue crews. Grant County Sheriff's Department reports a body believed to be that of a missing Moses Lake man was recovered from the lake Saturday. They launched a search for 31-year-old Lionel Pando last Thursday after he was reported missing by his family. His car was found in the lake in the McConaughey Flats area. Sheriff's Marine Patrol deputies and detectives recovered the body this morning near where Pando's car was found Thursday near Road E2 Northeast and McConaughey Road Northeast. The body is in the care of Coroner Craig Morrison, whose staff will confirm the identity and complete an autopsy. Pandos's family has been notified of the discovery. Chelan County Sheriff's swiftwater rescue crews were busy over the weekend responding to several distress calls on the Wenatchee River. Under Sheriff Jason Matthews says swimmers and rafters need to be aware that the rivers are running higher than normal this summer.
We do have an abnormally high number of calls so far this summer, and people just need to keep in mind that the river is still really high and flowing really fast. Some people might be underestimating the flow of the river, and when you're preparing to float the river for fun, just have a good route in mind, a good plan, and prepare for your exit, and just get ready to get out of the river, because once you miss your exit, it's difficult to get out past that.
Matthews says in the case of this past weekend search and rescue calls, there were no injuries and everyone made it to shore under their own power. Well, coming up, Washington State joins 4 others in a federal lawsuit concerning a safety review of a pesticide. Crews work to open Loop Loop Pass for driving. 2 North Bend men are injured in an accident on Blewett Pass, and a boil water advisory is issued for users in the Old Station area. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching NCW Life News.
Stay up to date with what's happening in North Central Washington. Go to the NCW Life Community Calendar at ncwlife.com.
Attorney General Bob Ferguson says Washington will join 4 other states in a federal lawsuit demanding that the new Environmental Protection Agency complete a scientific safety review of the pesticide chlorpyrifos. Agency Chief Scott Pruitt had halted a review already underway earlier this year. Ferguson contends that by stopping the safety review, the EPA is allowing the use of the pesticide on 80 food court, including apples, cherries, and strawberries, to continue without determining that the pesticide is safe. Ferguson said the Trump administration is willfully ignoring scientific evidence that chlorpyrifos is harmful to human health. But Heather Hansen with the group Friends of Farms and Forests disagrees.
More than 4,000 studies have been evaluated by regulatory agencies in 100 countries around the world, and chlorpyrifos is approved for use in all of those countries. The most recent comprehensive health review was very recently completed in Australia, and the regulatory agencies there found no evidence to change the use of chlorpyrifos, no new concerns. EPA has committed to continuing its review of all of the evidence, and we think that's appropriate.
Ferguson argues that scientific evidence has documented the harmful effects of chlorpyrifos it has on human health, such as lower IQ and attention deficit disorders. Children are reportedly at the highest risk of exposure, as well as pregnant women. Farm workers and those living in agricultural communities also experience dangerous levels of exposure. Well, traffic is once again moving, albeit sporadically, over SR 20 Loop Loop Pass as crews continue to make repairs to sections of the road that were washed out by spring floods. The DOT reports Loop Loop Pass is open twice a day from 6 to 9 a.m. and from 4 to 8 p.m. At 2 locations, you can expect up to 20-minute delays with single-lane flagger-controlled traffic on a gravel surface. Motorists can use the SR 153 detour route from Twist to Pateros during the hours Loop Loop Pass is closed. Well, 2 North Bend men were injured when their car collided with a tractor-trailer rig on US 97 Blewett Pass last night. The crash closed the highway for several hours. A Washington State Patrol report says it happened about 4 miles southeast of Peshastin shortly after 8 p.m. Troopers say 20-year-old Jake Clevin was at fault when he tried to pass another car, but weaved when he tried to avoid oncoming traffic. His vehicle struck the semi, with both vehicles ending up on the shoulder. Clevin and his passenger were transported to Cascade Medical Center in Leavenworth for treatment. The truck driver from Quincy was not injured. Well, you're watching NCW Life News. Coming up next, Eric Granstrom has your sports update, followed by our feature story today. That and much more still to come on NCW Life News. Stay with us.
Get the fastest internet available in North Central Washington by switching to LocalTel and get speeds up to 1,000 meg. Call 888-8888 today or go online to localtel.net.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a good Monday evening. Thanks to Dan and to Gabe for filling in while I was on vacation last week. Had a great time and good to be back. The Wenatchee Apple Sox delivered a come-from-behind walk-off win Sunday night to sweep the Kelowna Falcons by scoring the final 6 runs unanswered in a 6-5 win at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. The Sox trailed 5-0 at the 7th inning stretch after Cal Henke had thrown 6 innings of 2-hit baseball. The Apple Sox looked like they'd be put down in order in another inning before Michael Spalacy delivered delivered a 2-out double, and Cole McKenzie drove him in with an RBI single. Trailing 5-1 in the 8th, the Apple Sox scored 2 runs after loading the bases against Kelowna reliever Braden Price. Josh Zamora, who hit a grand slam home run in Game 2 on Saturday, was hit by a pitch, and then a wild pitch made it a 5-3 game. Mike Townsend threw a scoreless 8th inning before Cameron Kurz tossed a scoreless 9th. Still against Price in the 9th, the Apple Sox got a runner on via a walk. Then Kelowna put Jake Roses in. Jack Riesinger singled off of Rose to make it first and second with nobody out after McKenzie walk. Dugan Shire then lifted an RBI single to left center field, which made it a 5-4 game with runners still at first and second base. Jacob Prater attempted to put down a sacrifice bunt, but the throw from Rose to first was wide of the first baseman and out of the play down the right field line. That error forced home the run to tie the game at 5-5, with Shire at third, Prater at second, and the WCL's RBI leader Evan Johnson at the plate with no outs. Kelowna elected to intentionally walk him. That set up a game-winning opportunity for third baseman Jake Taylor. Taylor crushed a 1-1 pitch off the center field fence to win the game. The ball hit above the 406 marker in straightaway center field, just missing a walk-off grand slam by inches. With the RBI, the Apple Sox swept the series and completed their second comeback win of the 3-game set and 8th of the season. Also in West Coast League play on Sunday, it was Bend downing Victoria 6-1. Bellingham got by Port Angeles 4-1. Corvallis, in a high-scoring event, beat Walla Walla 11-8, and it was Cowlitz getting by Yakima Valley 5-1. So we're in the second half of the season, and they all set the record straight and set them from zero, starting the second half. And there you have Wenatchee on top of the standings in the North Division for the second half at 3-0. Victoria in second place at 5-2, basically tied for first. Bellingham at 2-1, Port Angeles 3-5, the Sweets 1-3, and the Falcons off to an 0-6 start. Well, the Wenatchee Apple Sox will have 3 players represent them in the 2017 West Coast League All-Star Game at Yakima County Stadium July 18th. Evan Johnson, Colin Mayer, and Dugan Shire each will play for the North All-Stars, and Johnson will compete in the Home Run Derby. Johnson, a senior outfielder from Sammamish and Northern Colorado University, currently leads the WCL in RBI with 38. He is 10 runs batted in shy of the Apple Sox single season record. We're only halfway through and 13 away from tying the West Coast League single season record. How about that? With still 24 games yet to play. Johnson is also tied for first in hits with 46, second in doubles with 11, ranks third in average at 380, and third in home runs with 7. Mayer, a redshirt senior pitcher from Billings, Montana, and Washington State University, has recorded the most wins of any WCL player this season at 5-1. His 40.2 innings are second most in the league, and he has registered 26 strikeouts this summer after redshirting for the Cougars last spring. Shire, a senior from Chehalis and Washington State as well, has the 5th best average in the WCL at 352. He's tied for second in stolen bases with 10 this year and has driven in 15 runs on 32 hits so far this summer. There are your all-stars for the Wenatchee Apple Sox. Well, Felix Hernandez and 5 Seattle relievers combined on a 2-hit shutout of Oakland Sunday as the Mariners topped the A's 4-0. Seattle won 2 of 3 from Oakland over the weekend after winning Friday 7-2, falling Saturday 4-3. The M's head to the All-Star break 4 games under 500 at 42-46, 4th in the American League West behind Houston, LA, and Texas. Sunday's game featured Nelson Cruz's 17th homer of the season, a 2-run shot to center in the 4th. Carlos Ruiz had a good day at the plate, hitting in the 9-hole, going 3 for 3 with an RBI. On the mound, meanwhile, Felix Hernandez looked like his old self, going 6 innings, allowing no runs, 2 hits, striking out 8, and walking only 3. Manager Scott Service was breathing a little sigh of relief after the ball game as Seattle snapped a dreadful streak heading into the All-Star break.
A lot of credit, obviously. Felix Hernandez stepped up today. That's absolutely the best we've seen him all year. He was locked in. He had all of his pitches working. He just had a different look about him today, and that's what guys that have had the career he's had, they can turn up the dial a little bit. He knew we needed this ball game, and he needed to have a good effort for us, and he certainly did. So really happy with that. And offensively, Chooch had a big day. Little spark plug, give us 3 hits, and Dyson swung the bat well, and Nelson Cruz, does it again when we need a big homer or something like that. He's usually the guy that comes through. So nice ball game, but really happy with the effort that Felix gave us. And like I said, hands down, that was the best effort and the best stuff he's had all year.
Seattle hits the break at 17.5 games behind the Astros in the West, but only 4 games out of the playoff race for the wild card. Speaking of the All-Star game, it is beginning tonight with the Home Run Derby, and they'll actually play the game tomorrow in Miami. Well, a port return of sockeye salmon has closed the fishery from the mouth of the Columbia to Bridgeport. The closure went into effect Saturday morning at 12:01, according to a release from the Department of Fish and Wildlife. The run is about half of what they had forecast, so unfortunately it's been closed. Chinook's fishing for the summer is still open, so get out there and do some fishing. With sports, I'm Eric Granstrom on the NCW Life Channel. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. A survey seeking public input on the Wenatchee Valley affordable housing crisis is due out tomorrow. It's part of the Our Valley, Our Future planning process. Chelan Douglas United Way Director Alan Walker provided an update on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with Dan Kuntz this morning.
Right now, we're working on releasing a housing survey that we're hoping folks will respond to. It'll be released tomorrow on the Our Valley, Our Future website, Facebook page, and other mediums as well. We were able also to get it translated into Spanish, so we're hoping to get it out to our Spanish-speaking folks or those that are more comfortable replying to it in Spanish. And we really want to gauge, it's not a short survey, so I want to preface that, but we really want to try to get an understanding of people's perceptions and realities in their housing, what they experience themselves when they purchase their home or in the process of doing so. And so that survey will be released tomorrow, and it'll be available for a couple of weeks, and we're really hoping folks will reply to that and help us gather some information that we can use then as we go out and try to figure out what's going on in our housing
well, it's
arena.
Expensive.
It's expensive. That much we know.
It's hard to find, and when you do find it, it's a big chunk of change.
It is, and you know, you probably saw the release from Pacific Appraisals just came out last week, and you know, just average home price tipped over $280,000. I think $280,500. I think was the number they released. Highest ever. Yeah. Yes. And it doesn't seem to be slowing down. It just keeps ticking up. Yeah.
Any idea what the cause of that is?
You know, we don't know for sure yet. Following the survey, we're in the process right now of interviewing 2 or 3 different firms to do a little bit of research for us and develop a white paper on the Housing Affordability Index and the cost of housing and what's happening here as it relates to other parts of our state, say Yakima or Spokane, or even different areas north of us, even northern part of the I-5 corridor, and try to get an understanding of what's different here compared to other places where the housing is less than what we're facing here. So we'll see.
The affordable housing issue is one of 7 game changers listed by the Our Valley, Our Future campaign to improve the area's economy, environment, healthcare, and social interaction. A 5-year implementation of the ideas and projects kicked off in January. Well, we'll be back in just a moment with a recap of today's stories and your weathercast for North Central Washington.
Stay up to date with what's happening in North Central Washington. Go to the NCW Life Community Calendar at ncwlife.com.
Welcome back. And now for a recap of our top stories tonight. 2 4th of July fireworks-related structure fires have called into question whether the city of East Wenatchee should join with the city of Wenatchee in both Chelan and Douglas counties in banning the sale of fireworks. East Wenatchee Mayor Steve Lacey says that while both fires may have been caused by fireworks, he stands by the East Wenatchee City Council's decision to allow the sale of safe and sane fireworks.
Caused by fireworks which were not legal either in the county or in the city. In other words, they were aerial fireworks that are illegal anywhere in the state, and you could tell that by the photograph they took of the fireworks while they were occurring, which kind of bolsters my counsel's argument that there isn't yet any evidence that safe and sane fireworks have caused any major fires in East Wenatchee in the city limits at any time, which is what we were told by the fire marshal before the city council decided not to ban fireworks in East Wenatchee last year and the year previous. There was another fire apparently in the Brookside Trailer Court, and although it's not as clear to me with that one, it doesn't appear there's any actual evidence that they were caused by safe and sane fireworks being purchased in the city, or that it would have made any difference in light of the city's ban or not banning fireworks to that fire. Plus, it wasn't a major fire. So basically within the city, the way I understand, we got one call out for a fire in the city, which was Brookside. it doesn't justify the belief that fireworks are causing significant damage inside the city limits. So I'm of the view that my council, on balance, probably would make the same decision today as they made twice in the last essentially 2 years.
Douglas County Fire District 2 Assistant Fire Chief Brian Brett says both 4th of July fires were caused by fireworks, but no citations were issued. Okanagan County Sheriff's deputies recovered the body of a Methow man Saturday after it was spotted on the Columbia River floating toward the Wells Dam. The body was that of 74-year-old Alvin E. Heimer, who drowned in the Methow River on July 1st. The two deputies recovered the body after borrowing a jet ski. The week-long search involved Okanagan and Chelan County search and rescue crews. Grant County Sheriff's Department reports a body believed to be that of a missing Moses Lake man was recovered from the lake Saturday. They launched a search for 31-year-old Lionel Pandow last Thursday after he was reported missing by his family. His car was found in the lake in the McConaughey Flats area. Sheriff's Marine Patrol deputies and detectives recovered the body this morning near where Pandos's car was found Thursday, near Road E2 Northeast and McConaughey Road Northeast. The body is in the care of Coroner Craig Morrison, whose staff will confirm the identity and complete an autopsy. Pandos's family has been notified of the discovery. Chelan County Sheriff's swiftwater rescue crews were busy over the weekend responding to several distress calls on the Wenatchee River. Under Sheriff Jason Matthews says swimmers and rafters need to be aware that the rivers are running higher than normal this summer.
We do have an abnormally high number of calls so far this summer, and people just need to keep in mind that the river is still really high and flowing really fast. Some people might be underestimating the flow of the river, and when you're preparing to float the river for fun, just have a good route in mind, a good plan, and prepare for your exit, and just get ready to get out of the river, because once you miss your exit, it's difficult to get out past that.
Matthews says in the case of this weekend's search and rescue calls, there were no injuries and everyone made it to shore under their own power. Well, now time to take a look at your weather forecast for north central Washington, and temperatures will be expected to be a little more seasonable today. I'm sure you felt that out there today, and that will continue throughout the Northwest through Tuesday. Breezy winds will continue to be a concern through tonight, though, with decreasing wind tomorrow and through the rest of the week. A little bit of cloud cover rolling through Washington state, mainly in the western part of Washington late today and into early this evening. Not much moisture associated with those clouds moving through Washington until they reach the higher elevations of western Montana. As we take a wider view of our satellite shot, you can see not much happening out in the Pacific Northwest. We are seeing a ridge of high pressure building there, and that will continue to build throughout the middle of the week into the end of the week, and we will see much warmer temperatures once again, well above normal, as we head into especially Thursday, Friday, and the beginning of this weekend. Here's a look at your forecast now. Tonight we can expect mild overnight low temperatures of around 61 degrees. Tomorrow we'll top off once again a little above normal at about 88. Keep in mind, 86 is our normal high for this time of year. Our record high today, by the way, is 101 degrees, and that was set back in 1975. Most records will be safe, but you can see the warm-up beginning on Wednesday. Sunshine, 90 degrees our high temperature. Lows mainly in the lower to mid-60s throughout our 7-day forecast. And the warm-up really begins on Friday, where we'll see sunny skies, 97 degrees, 98 on Saturday. And to end our upcoming weekend, sunny skies during the day, 96 degrees. A few clouds moving in this Sunday night with low temperatures in the mid-60s. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around north central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or on our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening or have video you'd like us to use, we'd love to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com, or just give us a call at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson, and have a great night.
This has been NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. For more news, log on to ncwlife.com, like us on Facebook, and follow NCW Life Channel on Twitter.
Get the fastest internet available in North Central Washington by switching to LocalTel and get speeds up to 1,000 meg. Call 888-8888 today or go online to localtel.net.